Okay, we wanted to make a YouTube video concerning repair of the Ford Mustang wiper motor failure. Well, it's a common problem that the wiper mechanism in Ford Mustangs fails to turn off, and it's very, very frustrating. So, if I were to suggest that somebody look to the simplest reason that this is going to happen, if you look right in here, essentially under the cowling, plastic cowling, is a sink. This is a sink. It almost looks like a sink. And underneath the sink, they, in their Ford's infinite wisdom, has a little goose-shaped rubber gasket that fits in here and hangs down. And it is duck-billed gasket. So the duckbill, the sink fills full of water, and the duckbill, the plastic gaskets that's around here, gets clogged with debris, and the water fills the sink compartment such that the windshield wiper motor sits as if it was in the sink in water, so that it shorts out and can't be turned off. So my original solution was, of course, to pull the relay. The wiper relay is number 54, and it's done right here. So you can pull the relay in the engine compartment, and you can stop the wipers from working. So that'll work if it's a nice day. I'm sorry, it's number 9. 54 and 9. But I think the simpler solution is to imagine that under the cowling there are 2 sinks. There's one on the right side, the driver's side, and there's also a sink underneath the cowling on this left side. And I can put my hands underneath the sink here and feel underneath there, right in here, and there's another rubber gasket that I've taken the rubber gaskets out so I can put my fingers in the bottom of the sink. I can actually put my fingers in there because I actually got rid of the rubber gaskets. So that accumulates water too on this side, on 2 halves, but it's not a problem on this side because there's no motor assembly that's submerged in water. So the motor assembly is on this side. It's easy to take off the cowling. However, you can't take the cowling completely off unless you pull the wiper blades off. And you need a special tool to pull the wiper blades off. You need to make a tool after you unbolt this nut to be able to pull the wiper blades off. Otherwise, the cowlings will not completely come up. So the cowlings are in 2 halves. They're easy to get off. These take a Phillips head screwdriver and they come up and they pop out, and then the locks for them just pop out. These gasket devices just pop out to be able to take the cowling off. But like I say, if you can't, you got to take the windshield wiper arms off to be able to take the cowling up to see what's going on down in there. So I would suggest, if anybody has a wiper motor that will not turn off, the simplest solution would be to first and foremost know that this is a sink, that I have my fingers in the bottom of it, and essentially that rubber gasket with a duck-billed thing is occluded. You could literally yank it out and let this compartment drain, or you could just play with it and let the water come down. My windshield wiper motor had been submerged in water long enough that it was corroded and it needed to be replaced. So I went to AutoZone and I got a replacement. I went to the Ford dealer, which was a big mistake, and got a replacement windshield wiper motor. I would suggest that you go on eBay if you're going to replace the wiper motor and that's the issue. You can find plenty of them for $50. Some of them even come with the control arms for 50 bucks for the year Mustang that you have. Mine is a 2011. And the dealer had the nerve to charge me $200 for a windshield wiper motor that was made in Mexico. Got nothing wrong with that. But when it came from the Ford dealership, after it had been ordered and I waited a week, it came and it didn't have any threads. So I actually had to cut the threads with a tap and die system because the 6mm bolt did not contain any threads until I made them myself. That'll be in a separate YouTube video. So understand that this compartment gets full of water, it corrodes out the motor will not turn off. Tremendous pain in the ass on a sunny day because your windshield wipers just come on once every 10 seconds to scratch up the windshield unless you pull the relay or pull the fuse. And then of course if it rains you have to put the relay or the fuse back in to get them to work. That may be acceptable temporarily. But I would suggest to you that this happens so commonly because the debris, the leaves, get down between the cowling and they foul this little rubber gasketed thing such that water is constantly like a sink that will not drain. It sits in this right-hand portion where the motor lies and causes it to corrode and malfunction. So the very simplest thing to do would be know that it's a sink, to reach down in here, either pull the rubber gasket out or let the water drain somehow, and know that that's probably your problem. It's probably not an issue with the assembly on the inside the car in the vehicle. And that would be the place I look first.